Now at 6, a historic Reddings Mill building will go up for auction. We'll have details. Plus, authorities arrest a Southwest Missouri man following a crash, injuring multiple people. And a Southeast Kansas family loses horses in a trailer fire.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A Webb City landmark will be demolished this week to make room for a new Popeyes restaurant. This is KOAM News at 6. I'm Dow Quick. Built in 1908, the house on South Madison Street once belonged to the then mayor, George Washington Moore. The last owner of the place was Connie Sweet. She lived there for more than half a century, raised her kids there. According to the family, the house was for sale for 11 years. City of Webb City says the house is not on any list of historic registers. To honor the history of the house, the new Popeyes location will have a historical wall incorporating columns of the house and displaying pictures of it.
Our family, more than anyone, was hoping it was someone that could restore it and that it would still be here.
As you can see, the house has gotten, so far that you just can't bring it back to life.
The demolition started last Wednesday. Now they're taking down the garage, and the whole house should be on the ground by the end of the week. Popeyes construction is scheduled to start by August 1st, and the store should be open 4 months after that. Tonight at 10, KOAM's Fernandez Silva is going to tell us more about the demolition process and share the memories of former residents and neighbors. Another historic building, the Reddings Mill Bar and Grill, goes to the auction block tomorrow. The property in Reddings Mill, Missouri, has a rich history dating back to the 1800s as a home, then resort, then restaurant. The auction includes several pieces of furniture and appliances as well as the building. The business says the auction will begin before 10 tomorrow morning at the Newton County Courthouse in Neosho. Another hot one out there. Let's check in with meteorologist Sam Lane.
You're right, Dow. It was another hot one and steamy one, or at least it's going to get that way tomorrow and Wednesday, especially Wednesday. But right now, things are not too bad. Mostly fair skies, just an isolated shower to the north and east of Springfield, and that is about it. This evening, we're going to see temperatures dropping through the 90s into the 80s, all the way down to 68 by tomorrow morning. And the UV index tomorrow is going to be up there. It's going to be very, very high with lots of sunshine. So if you're going to be outside, just be aware that it only takes about 15 to 20 minutes before you start to burn. So make sure you have the hat, sunglasses, and of course the sunscreen. Looking down the lane, we are going to see isolated thunderstorms tomorrow and a very hot Wednesday shaping up. Then we're going to go into an unsettled pattern, which may bring us a little bit of drought relief. And I know that's going to be music to a lot of people's ears. I'll have more on that in just a bit.
See you soon. The manhunt is over for a suspect wanted for attempted murder in southeast Kansas. Authorities captured 61-year-old Charles Amos late last night in Oklahoma City. The Cherokee County, Kansas Sheriff says earlier yesterday Amos was driving a stolen van when he ran out of gas in Cherokee County, then tried to siphon gas out of a farm truck. The sheriff says when the truck's owner and family confronted Amos, he fired 2 rounds from a shotgun at one of them, then fled in a pickup owned by one of the family members. Law officers from Kansas, Oklahoma, and the U.S. Marshal's Office worked together on a day-long manhunt, ending with the arrest just before midnight last night. Charges against Amos include attempted murder and aggravated robbery. Authorities have arrested a Chiefs superfan who'd been on the run accusing a string of bank robberies. 28-year-old Xavier Babadour, also known as Chiefsaholic, is charged in federal court for bank theft and transporting stolen property across state lines. He'd been a fugitive for the past 4 months, and now authorities have arrested him in Lincoln, California. The U.S. Attorney's Office suspects him of being involved in a series of bank robberies all across the Midwest and laundering stolen proceeds through casinos. You can learn more about the investigation on KOAMNewsNow.com. Violent crime in Kansas dropped last year compared to previous years. That's according to the Kansas Bureau of Investigation's 2022 Kansas Crime Index report. The report says violent crime decreased by 4.3% in 2022 compared to 21. However, despite the decrease, the number of violent crimes in 2022 remained 9.2% above the 10-year average. It's not yet returned to pre-pandemic levels. For a further breakdown of crime statistics, download the KOAM News Now app. A suspected intoxicated driver is charged after a two-car crash last night near Sarcoxie, Missouri, injured 9 people, including 3 children. A med-flight helicopter landed on the highway to assist with the injuries. Authorities say 62-year-old James Hake of Springfield was driving a car west on I-44 near mile marker 30 when he hit an SUV from behind. That SUV went off the road, hit an electronic sign, went down an embankment, and overturned. All 8 passengers suffered minor injuries. The helicopter transported Hake with serious injuries. Authorities arrested Hake on 3 charges, including felony DWI. A Lawrence County, Missouri man has died from injuries suffered in a crash last Thursday. Authorities say 30-year-old Jared Luders of Aurora was driving east on US 60 in Verona when he crossed the center line and hit 82-year-old Mance Wilkerson's car head-on. Wilkerson has died. Luders suffered serious injuries. Still ahead, a trailer fire kills horses belonging to a Southeast Kansas family. Plus, veterinarians warn of a dog flu outbreak. We're going to tell you about the warning signs. 2 horses belonging to a Mulberry, Kansas family were killed in a trailer fire near Oklahoma City. Authorities say the trailer was fully engulfed when firefighters arrived. The OHP says a pickup hauling the trailer caught fire, eventually spreading to that 5th wheel trailer. The family was driving back from the National Little Britches Rodeo Finals to the International Finals Youth Rodeo. Veterinarians across central Arkansas are warning of a canine influenza outbreak. The flood of diagnoses comes as the vaccine for dog flu is in short supply. Michaela Johnson reports on what vets are seeing and what you need to know.
Here at Pinnacle Valley West Rock Animal Hospital, vets are seeing 8 to 10 dogs a day, all being diagnosed with a strain of canine influenza. And in talking with other vets across central Arkansas, they're sounding the alarm of a potential outbreak.
It's so contagious. It's an outbreak of the flu.
Dr. Sonia Laverne says the signs of canine flu started popping up at Pinnacle Valley West Rock Animal Hospital a few weeks ago. Multiple dogs coming in with typical signs of kennel cough, but worse.
Seemed a little sicker. Some of them had fevers. They had decreased appetite, increased lethargy.
A respiratory test showed one thing: canine influenza. After reporting to the state veterinarian, she learned it's happening across central Arkansas.
Confirmed positives in Conways and in the surrounding areas.
Soma Animal Clinic confirming with THV11 they recently diagnosed a case. This outbreak comes as the flu vaccination, which helps protect against both strains, is in short supply. Laverne says the animal hospital got wind of this and stocked up.
Dog flu's been around for a long time. It's just that we haven't really seen outbreaks here.
Dogs that go to dog shows, doggy daycare, the groomers, and boarding facilities are at a higher risk.
And we've been seeing in almost all the boarding facilities, it's like taking your kids to daycare. If something's out there, they're going to be susceptible.
If they are susceptible, here's what to look out for: coughing, sneezing, a nasal discharge. Maybe they're not eating as well or as active. But there is good news in the midst of this current outbreak.
The dogs that we've seen that have had it, even some of the more sick ones, they seem to be recovering.
Dr. Laverne also wants dog owners to be aware that a dog might have it and could be asymptomatic. Biggest thing right now is to try to limit its skin contact with other dogs, since it's extremely contagious and can spread quickly. A little bit later, one of the world's best track and field athletes is from Southeast Kansas, and he takes center stage.
And we almost set a record today, but probably not the one you're thinking of. I'll have more details on that, as well as the rain chances in your forecast when we come back. Well, friends, we've been enjoying some slightly cooler weather over the last few days, but not just cooler, also drier, making it feel a lot more comfortable out there, including Seneca, Missouri. Let's take a look out this morning, and you can see as we go through the day, mostly fair skies through most of the morning into the early afternoon. Then we started to see some puffy cumulus clouds developing with the heating of the afternoon. That has now started to dissipate just a little bit as we head towards evening. Still a very pleasant evening out there. Check out the low this morning. Only 2 degrees away from the record set back in 1956 we were all the way down to 59 degrees, and that certainly felt really nice. The high today was 91, which was 1 degree above normal, but I think we will take it. Unfortunately, we're still way behind on the rainfall. 9.8 inches so far just in 2023, not counting the amount of rain that we were behind at the last part of last year. There are some storms on radar, but they're way up to the north and west in southern Nebraska, northwestern Kansas. They are somewhat headed in our direction, so we're going to start to see our rain chances increasing just a little bit as we go through the next 36 hours. But in the meantime, it's going to be dry. Temperatures right now are in the upper 80s to right around 90 degrees with southerly winds. But the big story is the dew points. The dew points have been low, especially up towards the north where they're still in the upper 50s. And then you start getting into the 60s, and then you start getting into the muggies once again down in Oklahoma with 70 degrees at Nowata. And when you take the temperature and the dew point and add it together, tomorrow we're going to be looking at temperatures feeling like over 100 across the area. But that's nothing compared to what's coming on Wednesday. Look at this, 117 in Fredonia and Independence, 116 in Parsons. It's going to be oppressively hot on Wednesday. These are not the actual temperatures, but what it's going to feel like. But nevertheless, it's going to be feeling pretty miserable. Rain chances are going to be low for the next 24 hours and then bump up just a little bit as we go through tomorrow, as we're going to have waves of precipitation or chances of precipitation moving down from the northwest in this northwesterly flow pattern. You'll see one storm after another coming by, and if they take the right path, that's when the rain chances begin to increase across our area. And as we go through the rainfall accumulation map, you can see on Thursday, by Thursday evening, some places could pick up an inch or so in some isolated spots. Then as we go into Friday, maybe some places over 2 inches. Wouldn't that be nice? But we'll have to cross our fingers and hope to heck that works out. All right, we're looking at severe chances up toward the north tomorrow, especially north of Joplin. And the biggest risk is going to be from the large hail and some high winds and elevated chances of some heavy rainfall, which I don't think anyone's going to complain about. With temperatures tonight in the 60s and 70s with isolated storms, that will continue into tomorrow with highs in the low 90s. And then as we go into Wednesday, very mild in the morning with lows in the mid 70s. But then in the afternoon, it's going to get close to 100 degrees with the storms moving in from the north. And with all that heat and humidity, that's lots of energy for those storms to work with. So we'll have to watch for the possibility of severe storms, and then 70s on Thursday. How about the next 7 days? Well, alert day on Wednesday with that chance of thunderstorms getting close to 100. And then we cool off on Thursday with 97, and then cooler still next weekend with chances of storms here and there. But we really need a good soaking down. Unfortunately, we're just going to hope that it comes, but it's going to be interesting to see how it pans out.
Looks like Wednesday in particular is a day to watch. Possibly heavy rain. That would be a good thing.
That would be a good thing, but we don't need the 105, right?
No, severe weather, no on
Right.
that too. Thanks, Sam. Hey, when severe weather strikes, you're going to want to stay informed, and you can do that by scanning this QR code. Why not do it right now? You have your phone right there. It's going to take you to the KOAM News Now YouTube page, where our weather team will live stream during severe weather events to give you updated information. And while you're there, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell for notifications. John Dale's here now. Pitt State Track and Field was in the national spotlight again this weekend.
Yeah, that's right, they were. Cordell Tinch competed in the USA National Championships, trying to earn a spot on Team USA. And day 2 of the MLB draft rolls along today, and the Royals select someone who those in the area saw not too long ago. I got those stories and more after the break. Hey, welcome into sports. I'm John Dales. This weekend in Eugene, Oregon, thousands looked on as some of the best track and field athletes in the world took center stage at the U.S. National Championships. And if you're watching, you may have noticed one of them was wearing a Pitt State logo across the front of his shirt, and that's PSU sophomore Cordell Tinch, who took second in the 110-meter hurdles. He was actually first after the prelims and the semis, just missed out on the top spot by 0.03 of a second. And this also comes after he went 12.96 seconds a few weeks ago. However, each of the top 4 finishers in the event qualify to represent the U.S. in next month's Track and Field World Championships in Hungary, including Tinch. And he says that's an honor he truly cannot believe. In a post-race interview, Tinch says he dreamed about this opportunity to wear a Team USA uniform for forever. And in the past year, he's gone from being completely out of the sport to representing his country on a world stage. In baseball, Mink League is back in action after a break for the All-Star game this weekend. Outlaws are at home tonight, and they'll be for the next week and a half at home, kicking things off this evening against the Nevada Griffons. Now, home cooking has really made a big difference this year for the Outlaws. Entering tonight, Joplin 9-3 in home games, but 6-13 on the road. Now, this time last week, things were looking really good for the Outlaws, who had a long win streak and a decent lead on the rest of the division in first place. Now, tonight, they're just a half game in front of Jeff City after a 3-game losing streak. We'll have the highlights from tonight's game at 10. In professional baseball, no games happening right now because of the All-Star break. Still plenty of news because we're in the middle of the MLB draft. Things got started yesterday with the first 2 rounds. Today's action just wrapped up. Round 3 through 10 all taking place this afternoon into this evening. One notable selection by those close by is former Mink Leaguer and Missouri State alum Spencer Nivens, selected by the Royals with the 142nd pick in the draft. He played for Sedalia back in 2021 and made a few trips right here to Joplin over at Joe Becker Stadium. 2 years later, he begins his pro career with the Royals. Plenty of other selections made as well as the Royals begin to fill their farm system for the future. Their picks on round 3 through 8 on your screen right now. One of them sticks out, Hero Wyatt, who just finished high school in Connecticut and is committed to attend USC, but he got picked by Kansas City with the 75th overall pick. Now he's got to decide between college and the Royals. Hunter Owen, another one that sticks out from Vanderbilt, 6'6" lefty who had a 4-0 record in 12 starts with one of the best programs in college baseball. Meanwhile, Cardinals plenty busy as well. They take a handful of pitchers and outfielders in the 3rd through 8th rounds. Travis Honeyman from BC, one of the guys that people thought of as a steal, he gets taken in the 90th overall pick. Zach Levinson, another ACC player from Miami that the Cards take a couple rounds later. Quinn Matthews, another name to remember. He was picked by Tampa last season. Returned to Stanford, though, to become their ace in 2023. And, you know, when you have the Cardinals and Royals having such tough seasons, this is really their World Series because you're looking ahead to the future. You're drafting the future of your team. Looking to next year and the year after that and the years after that. We'll be right back. Here's a look at what's coming up on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. We're going to have more reaction to the demolition of a historic Webb City home. Plus, the Girard Public Library hosts a presentation on raising chickens in your backyard, where that is allowed, of course, and why some security experts are concerned about the safety of U.S. data on Meta's new app Threads. Those stories, a lot more, of course, is coming up tonight. KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. We need the rain. There are some chances in the forecast, but we don't need the heat, and there are plenty of chances of that.
That's right. It looks like we're going to get a little mixture of both. The heat is definitely going to be on for Wednesday with heat indexes over 110, but then maybe some relief in the form of thunderstorms, especially as we go towards Thursday and Friday. A little bit cooler as well, but you know, it is July.
Yeah, a little bit cooler. It's all relative. Final sports note.
Yeah, for those that want to brave that heat, baseball fans in the area, a lot of chances to see the Outlaws at home over the next week and a half. First chance tonight against Nevada.
Very good. Thanks for joining us. We're going to leave you with some video of a sunflower field in Baxter Springs, Kansas. See you right back here at 10. Let's make it a great evening.